How are you guys, and welcome to the video. It's been a little while since we've seen you. We are down on the Yorke Peninsula today. We're at a place called Wauraltee Beach. Pretty bloody epic, if I don't say so myself. It's been a little while since we've been away. Really happy to get away with the kids in a nice warm weather as well. It's going to be great. Be a short video today, just a brief one showing you around the area and what this place has to offer. As far as free camps go, this is pretty epic. So close to Adelaide as well. Like I said, only 2.5 hours away from Adelaide. Definitely come down, give it a try. If you haven't been here before, even if you have and it was a while ago, make sure you come down and check it out. Absolutely beautiful beach. Probably our second or third beach that we've camped on. Most places down on the Yorke Peninsula do need a Yorke Peninsula camping pass, which you can get off their website. I think it's about $20. It does get a little bit cheaper if you stay longer or you buy a longer pass. So I think a week was about $100, which brings it down to about $14 a night instead of $20. So that's pretty good. Where we are at the moment on the beach, it is free to camp down here on the beach. There is a camping spot on the main entrance as you come down onto the beach. There is a toilet and everything there as well, but for that spot, it is operated by the council and you do need a pass from the Yorke Peninsula. Where we are here, like I said, it is free, absolutely beautiful. As far as coming down onto the beach, it isn't too bad. It's fairly hard. We came down here at low tide, which would make it a hell of a lot easier if you were coming onto the beach for the first time to set up camp. The high tide on the left side of the ramp where we are, so coming down the main entrance on the beach, we turn left. The water does tend to be a little bit shallower for a lot longer. It's a bit flatter. And then the sand itself on the beach does come up a little bit steeper, whereas on the right hand side, I think from what we've heard, the water is a little bit deeper because it does drop off a bit quicker. So yeah, we're on the left hand side. Absolutely beautiful down here. The beach does stretch for what seems like forever. It is a little bit windy unfortunately today. The wind did come up a little bit yesterday, but today it was actually quite a bit worse. So I think it was about 40 k's an hour for the gusts, and it sort of comes and goes. It's nice. We've got a really warm weekend here today. I think it was about 29-30 degrees, and the wind sort of keeps you cool and keeps the flies away, but it does blow the sand absolutely everywhere. So keep that in mind. You are going to get sand all through the van and or tent or whatever you're camping in as well. It was quite easy to get the van on the beach and parked up. You can quite obviously see the high tide line. Just check one of your weather apps or tide apps to see where the tide is when you're coming onto the beach, and you can get a good idea of where to pull the van up so that you don't wake up in the morning underwater, which wouldn't be very nice. But so where we are here, I'll show you some footage of where we sort of parked the camp up. You can see the high tide line, and you can see where the water is now, and it's quite a big difference here on the left side of the ramp. I can't talk too much with the right hand side, but there is a Facebook group with a lot of information on there, which we had a look at on the way here yesterday. We sort of got a good idea of what it's like and what different campsites are like as well. So like I said, the beach does go for what seems like forever all the way down there. There's so many spaces to have the whole beach filled in peak times, in really nice weather, which I have no doubt it'd get filled up. You would have thousands of people down here. So I think you can probably count on having a space down here. The kids had an absolute ball down in the water. I reckon they spent hours down in the water this weekend. The water was really, really warm. I don't know if it's always like that or if it's just this really warm weather we've had recently, but even a fair way out in the water, that felt like a warm bath. It was really, really warm to touch. So it wasn't overly like refreshing because it was so warm in the hot weather, but it's better than having freezing cold icy water, which we tend to have in Adelaide a fair bit. So that was really, really nice. The kids had a great fun digging around in the sand, using the bodyboards, floating around. They can go a fair way out and still sort of be at knee height in the water, which is really nice. That was on low tide, obviously. In high tide, the water does come up a fair bit, so it would get a little bit deeper as well. So I'll show you on the map now exactly where we are. We're about 2.5 hours drive from Adelaide, give or take, depending on your traffic, obviously. The drive itself wasn't too bad. There was a little dirt road on the way in here that was a little bit corrugated. That condition would change, obviously, depending on what time of the year and how busy it is and the weather and everything like that. But for us, it was a little bit corrugated, so I'd probably suggest, just to keep things safe, maybe if you air down just at the start of the dirt road there, and then you're prepared for when you come on the beach as well. realistically, you probably don't need to air down very much coming onto the beach. The softest part of the beach is as you sort of come up onto the high tide mark. The sand is a little bit softer up here. But again, it wasn't too bad, and I probably could have done it quite easily with the tire pressure still up. But of course, you don't want to be that guy and get bogged on the sand. Some people next to us, these people over here, when they first pulled up, I think they were on road tires in the Prado, and I did notice that they sunk it down to the diffs. Had to spend a little bit of time in that 40-degree weather yesterday digging it out. So I only went down about 10 psi in the car. I left the van up full. I think the van travels through the sand pretty well, unless it's real soft and silky. But it's definitely doable up here pretty easily.